let's start by looking at I can make a new friend. I can make a new friend. Okay, here I have a verb, can make, and I have a subject, I. I can make what? I can make a new friend. Okay, so this is a complete sentence or an independent clause. It has a subject and it has a verb. Now I'm going to write, I am playing chess. Here, what is the verb? Well, we see the ing word. We look at the word in front of it. Am is, are, was, were, will, be. Yes, am. It's part of the verb to be. So the ing word is part of the verb. So the whole verb is am playing. Am playing. Who? I. I am playing. I am playing what? Chess. So, you know, we could say chess is, I could put an orange box around this, but I think I'm just going to say I am playing chess. I'm going to call that my verb. That is what I am doing. Okay. So this is also here a complete sentence. It has a subject and it has a verb. I am playing chess. So I have two sentences, but these go together because I want to say that I can make a new friend when I am playing chess. So I will say here, when I am playing chess. Now I can get rid of this period. I can combine these two sentences into one. It will be a complex sentence because it will have this part right here. Which is my main independent clause. That can be a sentence all by itself. Remember that I am playing chess by itself would be an independent clause. It would be a sentence. I am playing chess. But as soon as I put when in front of it, it's going to become a dependent clause. Because when I am playing chess cannot be a sentence all by itself. This word when, I call it that purple glue. It's that type of conjunction. Remember, there are two types of conjunctions. The purple kind, that I call it purple, like the word when, will be used to make a dependent clause. And when we combine the independent and the dependent, these two sentences into one, we call it a complex sentence. So we have the independent clause, and now we have a dependent clause. If we put the independent clause first, we do not need a comma. Do you remember what we just learned about the sentence with the prepositional phrase in competition at the end, and how we could move in competition from the end to the beginning of the sentence if we put a comma after it? Well, it is the same thing here. We can take the end of this sentence, when I am playing chess, and move it to the beginning. But if we do that, then we will use a comma because we want the subject of our main sentence, the subject of our independent clause, we want that to come first. And if it does, like here, we do not need a comma after it. But if we're going to move our dependent clause up here to the beginning, then we will put a comma after it. And just like with the prepositional phrase that answers the question when, here our dependent clause is answering the question when. When can I make a new friend? When I'm playing chess. And the answer to the question when, it's really helpful to the reader to know that information first. So I'm going to cut out my dependent clause. And I'm going to move that up here to the beginning. So we don't need to see this anymore. Okay. So if I move this to the beginning, okay, so we could have it at the end, then no comma. If we move it to the beginning, then we're going to want to put a comma after it. And we will need to turn this into a capital W. Now I needs to stay capital because the pronoun I is always capital. If this was not the word I, we would want to make sure that we turn this into a lowercase letter. So here, when I am playing chess, comma, I can make a new friend. This is a complex sentence because we are using the word when. If we put our dependent clause first, you'll see it will start with the conjunction, then we put the comma after it. When I am playing chess, I can make a new friend. So here I have mentioned the word friend, but let me look back at my mind map. Here it is. And here I was talking about not just making friends, but fun and interesting. I have not used either of these words, but I could just add a simple sentence here like, that is fun. That is fun is a red, green, yellow sentence. That is the subject, is the verb, and fun is an adjective telling us what that is. Well, that is actually a pronoun. So you need to know what that is. Well, what is fun? What is that? We have to look at the sentence before it. It's this whole idea of making a new friend when I'm playing chess. That whole thing, that's what that is. So making a new friend when I'm playing chess, that is fun. We have gone to our mind map and we have now used our reason number 1, reason number 2, and reason number 3. We haven't mentioned being good at it, but we can still look to see if there's a place where we can add that. In our conclusion, we are going to remind the reader of what our main idea is, but we are not going to give a new reason. So for the word I'm using is conclusion. Conclusion is when we bring it to an end. A very simple conclusion, especially for a paragraph where we are talking about our opinion, is just to say how you feel about it. I like playing chess. When we look at this sentence, we can see the ing word. Is that the verb in the sentence? Are we playing chess right now? Let's look at the word before it, like. This is not am, is, are, was, were, will, be. This is not the verb to be. So playing is not a verb in this sentence, which means we have to keep looking for the verb. This is the verb. And who is the subject going with that? I. I like. That is our subject and our verb. Do we need to ask the question, what? I like what? What do I like? Yes, this sentence answers that question. I like playing chess. My box needs to go on both lines. I like playing chess. So here, playing chess is answering the question, what? So we are using the playing, the ing word, as a gerund, right? Gerund is kind of a fancy word. It is when we are adding ing to the verb and turning it into a noun so that it can answer the question, what? And we're talking about the activity of playing chess, the idea of it. I like playing chess. And here I might just add, I am good at it. You don't have to add that, but we can. So let's look at our whole foursquare. Is there anything we want to add or change? This is where we have finished putting down our ideas. We have finished organizing our ideas. We have a plan, but we could make changes if we want to. Making changes to make it better would be called revising it. That is this word, revising. If we revise what we are writing, we add to our ideas, take some away, change it. So we could do revising. If we have changed it, then our new changes would show our revisions. Okay, I think I might add one sentence here. This reason was about how we like to let our brain do a lot of thinking. So it's not just good for us, but we enjoy it. We enjoy the thinking that we do. So I might want to add that and say, I like thinking. And when I'm playing chess, what I really like thinking about is a very fancy word called strategy. If you like playing chess, then knowing the word strategy is a great word to know. Strategy is the type of thinking that your brain is doing when you are playing a game and you are trying to decide, what should I do next? Where's our picture of a chess? Here's our chess game. When you are looking at the chessboard and you are trying to think about, where should I go? Should I move this one here, or this one here, or this one here, or this one here? And if I do that, maybe he'll go here, or he'll go here, and I'm thinking about, what should I do? You know, what's my plan? So the thinking that we do when we are playing a game is called strategy. If you are playing soccer or football or chess or Monopoly, when you have to make a decision about what should I do, what will help me win the game, that is your strategy. It's thinking about how, answering the question, how am I going to do this? In this sentence, I like thinking about strategy. I can see an ing word. Is this part of the verb? Well, remember our trick? We look at the word right before it. This is the word like. This is not the verb to be. So thinking in this sentence is not part of the verb. The verb in this sentence is like. And the subject that goes with like is I. I like. I like what? What do I like? Thinking. Thinking about strategy. So thinking or thinking about strategy would be the answer to the question, what do I like? So here thinking is the activity of thinking, the idea of thinking. It would be the object in that sentence. So here's our finished foursquare. But before we turn it into a written paragraph, we need to talk about transitions. Transitions. Here's the word I'm using. Transition. Transition words are words that we use to help the reader know that we have finished talking about one thing or one reason, and now we are going to talk about the next thing or the next reason. When we are doing a story map to tell a story, our transition words would be words like first, next, after that, finally, in the beginning, in the end, because we need to show the reader that these things are happening in a specific order, and that this has to happen before this can happen, and this has to happen before this can happen. So the transition words we use when we are telling a story are different, and they are showing the reader that things are happening in a specific order. But when we are using the Foursquare, things might not need to happen in a certain order. Do you remember when we looked at our mind map and we were deciding what should we talk about first? What reason should we give first? There really wasn't a right or wrong answer. We could have talked about it being fun and interesting first, but we chose to talk about the thinking that our brain does and to do that first. And then we chose this one second and this one third. But it didn't have to be that specific order. So our transition words are going to be a little different. The one that I like to use for the very first reason is just to say, to begin with. And because this is introducing a sentence and it's coming before the subject, I will put a comma after it. To begin with, it is good exercise for my brain. I need to make sure I turn my capital I into a little I. For the next one, I might do something like in addition or also, but because I am already introducing my sentence with in competition, I'm not going to add another transition word to the beginning of this. I could, but I don't have to. Here, I am also introducing the idea of making a new friend by saying when, answering the question when, with when I am playing chess. That is a way of introducing the sentence. However, I am also going to put a transition word in front of it, and it's going to be a simple one, just also comma. And then I need to change my capital W into a little w. For the conclusion, one transition word or phrase that I like to use is as you can see. Comma. As you can see, I like playing chess. As you can see is just kind of a fun way of saying, okay, now that you look at everything I've said and all the reasons that I've given you, you can see that this is why I like playing chess. Okay, I've given you 3 reasons why. When you look at them all together, now it makes sense for me to say, I like playing chess because I have given you these 3 reasons. A fancier way of writing a conclusion would be to remind the reader that I'm talking about playing chess and then make a list of these 3 reasons. It would be something like, as you can see, I like playing chess because it is good for my brain, comma, it helps my brain to think fast, comma, and I can make a new friend, period. Or, as you can see, I like playing chess because it is good exercise for my brain, comma, my brain gets to think fast, comma, and it is fun, period. So I have given a review of or a list of those 3 reasons, and I've put it into one sentence. When you put a list into one sentence or a series of things, then you use commas. However, we are just doing a very simple paragraph today where we introduce our main idea, reason number 1, reason number 2, reason number 3, and then our conclusion, which might just say how we feel about it. Something that I noticed now that I'm all done is that I wrote the word competition wrong. Do you see that? Did anyone notice that? We have competitive, and then shun, competition. So here is our suffix shun. So here are the parts of the word, competition. So I missed that here, I have competition. So that's why it's very important after we do our planning in our first draft to go through and check for things we want to change to make better. That would be revising, but also to do something called editing. When we edit or do editing, we are looking for the spelling mistakes, where we need to add a comma, if our verb needs an S at the end of it, the things to make all of the writing be perfect. So revision looks at the ideas, and editing looks at things like spelling and capitals and the verb and punctuation. Once our graphic organizer is all finished, our Foursquare is filled out, then we can put it into a written paragraph. And the way that we would do that is on our paper, we would find the margin, which is this line that goes down here, and this line needs to be straight. You want to have a space here. This space is called the indent. And then you would start writing right here. So here I am showing you how I have taken the information from our Foursquare and put it into a written paragraph. When we look at this paragraph, you can see that I have a beginning, middle, and end. The beginning in green is when I give my main idea. I just copied that from that square in the middle of my Foursquare. In the middle is the orange color. These are where I give my 3 reasons why I like to play chess. And in purple at the end, I have my conclusion. This is when I bring the whole paragraph to an end and I remind the reader what my main idea is. So here I have my beginning, my middle, and my end. When you are looking for the main idea of a paragraph, you often will find it in the very first sentence. If you don't find it there, you might find it in the very last sentence. In some paragraphs, though, you really have to just be a detective and look for clues and then infer what the main idea is. But for us as a writer, when we are writing a very simple paragraph, we will put the main idea in our first sentence, and we will remind the reader of our main idea in the last sentence or the conclusion. And then in the middle, we will have our details, our reasons. Remember, with a detail, the whole paragraph is not going to be about that. So when you are reading a paragraph and you are trying to figure out main idea or detail, ask yourself, is this what the whole paragraph is about? For example, our first reason or detail was the good exercise for the brain, the thinking that our brain gets to do. But is our whole paragraph about that? No. We also talked about making a new friend. So the good exercise for the brain, the thinking piece, that is a detail, a reason. When we talk about our brain needing to think fast, is our whole paragraph about our brain thinking fast? No. So that is a detail, not the main idea. How about making a new friend? Is our whole paragraph about making a new friend? No. So that is not the main idea, that is a detail. So in our first sentence, we don't give away any of the details. We just want a sentence that introduces the main idea of the paragraph, which is playing chess is one of my favorite things to do. And then we have reason number 1, and you can see our transition here. You can see our transition to begin with helps the reader know that we are now giving the first reason. I think as I look at my paragraph, I probably would make a revision and go ahead and add a transition word to my, in front of my second reason. So here, I think I would say also, comma, also in competition, my brain needs to think fast. And I might add another sentence here about how fast. You know, how many seconds do I have, or how many minutes do I have to make my play, when it's my turn, before it's the other person's turn. Now here I notice also, if I'm going to use also here, I'm not going to use also here. I'm not going to use the same transition word twice. So I would do a little revision and I would say, instead of saying also, maybe I would use in addition. In addition is another transition word that means also. In addition, when I am playing chess, I can make a new friend. So these transition words would really help the reader to know that I am giving my 3 reasons. To begin with, I'm introducing my first reason. Also lets them know I'm moving on to my next reason. In addition, helps them know that I am moving on to my 3rd reason. And as you can see, lets them know that I'm coming to my conclusion. So the transition words are really helpful for the organization piece and for helping the reader to know that you're moving from the beginning to the first reason, to the next reason, to the 3rd reason, and then to my conclusion. So then when I'm done, I would read it to myself or read it to a friend and think about, does this make sense? Do I want to make any changes to the ideas? Do I want to change any words? Do I have good transitions? And then I would check for my spelling and punctuation and capital letters, commas, the S at the end of verbs, and things like that. So let's read it one last time. Playing chess is one of my favorite things to do. To begin with, it is good exercise for my brain. I like thinking about strategy. Also, in competition, my brain needs to think fast. In addition, when I am playing chess, I can make a new friend. That is fun. As you can see, I like playing chess. I am good at it too. Because that last sentence was kind of a fun thing to add, just for fun, just to bring it to an end, I added an exclamation mark at the end of it to kind of show that it's fun. One thing I noticed is that because I added the word also, my letter I needs to be changed to a little I. And so let me check. In addition, and that's a little W. So I wanted to check that. We should only have a capital letter in the middle of our sentence if it is the name of something. Okay, so here's what our final paragraph looked like. To get there, we filled out a graphic organizer called a Foursquare that helped us organize our ideas. The way that we came up with our ideas was to do some brainstorming and to create a mind map. So I will leave it here. Just as a reminder to you before we close, this is the Foursquare that I used today, and I switched my orange and purple. Usually I have purple in the middle and orange at the end, but we ended up with our final Foursquare today looking like this. We had green at the beginning, orange in the middle, purple at the end, so that our final paragraph looked like this, with green in the beginning, orange in the middle, and purple at the end. Normally, I would have had green at the beginning, purple in the middle, and orange at the end, so that our completed Foursquare would look like this. And then our final paragraph would have looked like this, with green at the beginning, purple in the middle, and orange at the end. And that would be consistent with how I do it on the story map, where I have the problem in the beginning is green, the events in the middle are purple, and the solution at the end is orange. But that's okay. The color doesn't really matter. It's just the thinking that we do, the way that we organize our thinking and make a plan. And so here we have our final paragraph. Great job today. Okay, that brings us to the end. Thanks for listening. Bye.